Hello, world. This is America's Supermom, and this is a special edition that I call the Corona Chronicles. During this time, we are suffering from a pandemic that is affecting everyone across the world. We are joined with the rules and regulations of being shelter in place, which means we are limited with the ability to go about our daily business, confined to our homes based on a coronavirus that has been sweeping the entire world. For some people, the effects could be mild. For others, it can be fatal. So we are coming together as a community, as a family during this time of difficulty to share what it is like in our part of the world, how we are affected, and the things that we have in common, what kind of problems that are taking place in our industries and in our relationships and finances, and coming together so that we can plan for a better tomorrow. As this epidemic or pandemic crosses the world, we are waiting for relief. We're waiting for the virus to die off and for us to go back to some state of normalcy, whatever that may be, after things kind of settle down. So, what is that going to look like once the dust settles? How are things going to be different? So as we go through this process, we're coming together as a world to create ideas, strategies, connect in ways that we have never connected before. So that is the purpose of the special podcast that I call the Corona Chronicles, so that we can get some insight and have empathy and compassion on one another, create new, innovative ideas that can not only improve our life, but our fellow brothers and sisters across the world. Thank you so much for joining us.
I want to thank you guys for listening today. Thank you for joining us. I'm really excited about my next guest. Callie Teegardin is her name, and we met in January when I joined the company Send Out Cards. One of the things that I really enjoy about Callie is her personality, her energy, focus, and most importantly, her creativity. One of the things that really drew me to Send Out Cards is the opportunity to really connect with people and create deeper relationships. And she is just the perfect role model when it comes to that. She took out time to have a conversation with me, to give me some pointers and tips and guide me on this new adventure that I'm really excited about. So I'm really happy to have her today so she can share some of her insight and positivity during a time when a lot of us are really being challenged with this global pandemic. So at this time, I want to give Callie the floor so she can introduce herself before we get into the interview.
Well, first, thank you so much for having me, Lachelle. It's great to be here.
Awesome. You are just wonderful. So I'm excited for you taking out the time.
Well, I'm excited to be here. It was an absolute honor to be asked. I just adore you, and I'm glad that we've connected. And to tell your audience a little bit about me, I live in Sugar Land, Texas, just outside of Houston. I am a transplant to Texas. I actually grew up in Indiana, and after high school, went to Notre Dame. And when I graduated from Notre Dame, got a first job here in Houston. And 20 some years later, I didn't think I'd still be here, but here I am. I do love the Houston area. After college, I went into the corporate world. I spent almost a decade in the corporate world. And one day I woke up and I was miserable, absolutely miserable in my corporate job. And it wasn't so much the job, it was that my boss and my company owned my life. I was spending 70% of my time on the road, and I had 12 days of vacation. And those that know anything about me, that didn't work for me. So I was looking for something, and that's when I got introduced to the profession of network marketing. And I ended up starting a business part-time alongside my full-time job. It was a skincare company, and I built that for a few years. And in that business, I had clients, and I was looking for a simple way to stay in touch with my clients. Birthday, thank you, and holiday cards. I don't know about you, Lachelle, but my mom raised me like when we were given a gift, we had to write a thank you note. Right?
We need to get back to that. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. And so I knew the importance of appreciating and staying in touch with my clients. And so because I was working full time, writing the cards out seemed like it was really time consuming. So I got this, what I thought at the time was this brilliant idea to hire my neighbor's mom to write out all my birthday and thank you cards. Except a couple months into that brilliant idea, one of my girlfriends, who was also my client, called me up and said, "Hey, Callie, I got your card." And I'm like, "Great." And she's like, "That's not your handwriting." In that voice, that exact voice. And so in a moment, I knew a good gesture had gone wrong. I was trying to make, my clients and my friends feel important, appreciated, and I was doing the exact opposite. So fast forward a few months, and I met a lady. She told me about send out cards, and I didn't get it until I got that card in the mail. And literally it was a card that changed my life. And that was 10.5 years ago.
That is so awesome. And the thing about it that I think is so impressive is you have monetized a career around something that you already love to do. So, right now, a lot of people are, feeling displaced and thinking, man, this is like a dream job. How could you wrap your head around that? So for people who are listening, explain to them, how this is possible, because they're probably saying this is some kind of theory.
Right. It's possible. It's possible because in this profession, Send Out Cards is a network marketing company. We, so instead of paying advertisers or traditional salespeople, it's built in network marketing. So they pay us to go share with others and build a team of people to go share with others and teach them. So part of what I get paid is to help my team learn how to share this, right? And so it's really interesting. And, when I found this, I loved it. And I became an affiliate simply because I wanted to get my system paid for. I knew a few people who sent cards, and I knew some business people that if they weren't, they needed to be sending cards. But within a few months, I really fell in love because what we do is we go out and we love and appreciate others. And that's what I teach other people to do. And to me, that's like one of the most honorable things in the world because I truly love people. One of my mottos is love people, love life.
I love that. Yeah, that is so true.
And I think, Lachelle, when you do that, I was talking to some people the other day, and when you focus on loving people and loving life, I think a lot of other things, and put loving God in there too, right? I think a lot of other things take care of themselves.
So true. Yeah. Now, so you said that you work on training your team and, everybody working together. And I love that concept, but, you got the vision, because you already had that desire, it was something you were raised to do, have an appreciation for people. But for somebody who is on the fence, explain to them the difference that it has made in your business and just in your everyday life by taking on the mindset of showing appreciation for people.
Yeah, I think it's changed me in so many ways. In the way that it's not everything when I first got started in this, it really was about me. I wanted to travel. I wanted to get out of the corporate world. Right? So it was, but one of the reasons I wanted to travel is that I love meeting people from other cultures and other places and learning about them. And there's always been something in me that is curious about others. And so one of the things that I recommend to people is just starting to get to know people, build relationship with people, build
Mm-hmm.
relationship to just appreciate another human being, not to get something from them. And my background
Mm-hmm.
is a sales background. I was in all kinds of aspects in sales. And there's this really interesting piece of, am I building this relationship just to try to get something out of it for me? Or am I building a relationship to add value to another human being? And when I
Mm-hmm.
do, the opportunities, they present themselves, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That is so
Because
good. Yeah. And
I
go ahead.
believe people can feel your intention even through an email, a message. We get sense. We have like that sixth sense, or what our founder Cody
Mm-hmm.
Bateman calls that prompting. Right? We get that sixth sense about a
Mm-hmm.
person, and I really think we can feel: is this person well intended, or are they just trying to get something from me? And when you try to get from others, it doesn't work.
Right. This is so true, because I did an interview with Dr. Ivan Meisner, and he was saying how, he created his company because people just didn't have what is the standard for listening to people. They just had this thing like, hey, can you do business with me? As soon as you first meet them. And so for somebody who, a lot of salespeople are in that kind of environment where they think, it's all about my product and, this is a great product. It's going to solve a problem. What advice would you give them to begin to, create a different outlook when it comes to building that relationship and adding that
Well,
value?
one, I mean, I think, you just talked about Dr. Ivan Meisner. He talks about giver's gain, right? How can
Yeah.
you give to others? How can you create value to others? How can you create relationship? So if you're someone that's out, let's say you're networking, and you could be networking, in person, maybe not right now, but also almost in
Mhm.
Georgia, right? You're very
Right.
close.
Right. Yes.
And right now we're doing a lot of networking. I'm learned in my career from a lady named Christine Spray, and she taught me that when I sat down and did like a typical one-on-one with someone, and that's not a sales call, that's saying, you and I sitting down, Lachelle, and saying, let's learn about each other's
Mhm.
businesses and see how we can help each other. She taught me to always leave that person with three things. And so the three things could be an
Mm.
introduction to someone, like a direct referral. So let's
Okay.
say I'm meeting with a realist. Let's say I'm meeting with a real estate agent, right?
Mhm.
So it could be a direct referral to them of someone that needs to buy a house, right? It could
Mhm.
be a referral to like a third party person that they could network. So a mortgage person, right? That they could network with,
Mm.
because
Mhm.
sometimes mortgage people bring real estate agents business, and sometimes it's vice versa, depending
Mhm.
on where the person starts.
Mhm.
Inviting to another networking event, or giving them like a book article or
Mhm.
something that could help them. And so out of every conversation, I always tried to leave that person with three things. So maybe I sat down with a real estate
Mhm.
agent, and maybe one of them was inviting him to a networking event that I was going to go with me. And maybe two were that like third party introductions that I could make. And so what
Mm.
happened is,
Mhm.
as I networked, I was just giving. And if they did business with me, great. If they didn't, that was fine too. But I got to the point where people are like, you need to talk to Callie. She knows everyone. And I don't know everyone, but I was giving
Mhm.
to everyone. That then, it's the law of reciprocity.
Mhm.
When you do something nice for someone, they want to do something nice back for you. And so you start getting people to
Yes.
introduce her, say, you need to meet her. She'll connect you to other people. And so by doing that, I built this amazing network, and in the process also built my business.
I love that. And that is so true because it doesn't cost anything to
Not at
connect
all.
people, but it can have a great return for that. So, what are some things that you do to kind of keep you focused and in that growth mindset? We did our Promptings Academy, and We talked about our I am statements and things that we have to sometimes shift in our mind. But, because right now people are in a pandemic. And so some people are really fear, on the left side, really scared. And other ones are like, there's so much potential in tomorrow. So, how do you kind of keep yourself focused on the positive, when you kind of can have negativity all around
Yeah.
you, if
So
that
the
makes
first
sense?
thing I do when I get up in the morning, I read my I am statements and my goals. So when I wake up in the morning,
Okay.
and so I have my I am statements, I have what I call my top 100 list. It's 100 things I want to do in my lifetime. And so it includes goals and send
Mm.
out cards, it includes financial goals, it includes philanthropic goals, it includes travels goals,
Mm-hmm.
adventure, like all kinds of different things. I update it every year, but it's 100 things I want to do. And typically on that list, there's 3 things that I'm very focused on in a year. Typically more than 3
Mm-hmm.
happen, but like the ones that I'm really focused on where I can take action to make them happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that morning routine where I read those. I've got what I call a day in the life story. It's a 5 to 7 year vision of what my life looks like 5 to 7 years from
Mm.
now. That's been a lot of fun. And
Mm-hmm.
so that gets my mindset in the right place in the morning. The other thing I do is I sit down every
Mm.
morning. I have like a little morning ritual. I make my water. I literally get a gallon of water with lemons in it so I can drink it all day because I don't drink enough water.
Mm.
And I come to my
Mm-hmm.
desk and I literally map out my day and I map out my work time, but I also map out my fun time, my time to,
Mm.
spend time with my husband. Right now, he's actually in England. I'm here in the US. And so, I book my time with him. I
Mm.
book my time to do personal development, but also time off, time to just enjoy me. And so I
Mm.
try to stay focused. What I say, it's like a target. If you've ever shot bow and arrow, the goal is to, hit the bullseye. And if you can't hit the bullseye, you want to be on target.
Right.
Well, this helps me stay on target. Am I
Mm-hmm.
always on target? No, but then I can adjust. But what it does is it allows me, I'm not sure there's any such thing as balance, but it allows me to really
Right.
define, okay, what am I doing today? Where am I putting my energy and focus? And then if I find that I'm, going out and
Mm-hmm.
looking at the news channels or just scrolling Facebook and stuff that may, get me out of that, it's like, okay, wait, what am I supposed to be doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
Because this isn't productive for me.
Right. I love that. And talk to someone who's listening about, the importance of creating that system, because a lot of people think, "Oh, I've got my goals. I'm going to start out, I'm going to read my affirmations and I'm going to look at what I'm working towards and, is this going to happen because I did that every morning." So, walk somebody through that whole process that has to happen in order for
Right. So
you to be
I
intentional,
think that goes
if
back
that
when I
makes sense.
mentioned the goals and really defining 3 key goals at any time. And so with those key
Mhm.
goals, I
Mhm.
literally break down a daily activity. So instead of saying, okay, so one of my goals right now is to write a book.
Mm.
And I'm actually giving myself time to write it
Mm.
because I'm in the process of what I call I'm learning to write. Right? Because there is
Right,
an
right.
art
I
of
feel
writing
you.
a book. Um, and so
Mhm.
my goal uh, is, it's really a next year goal, but it needs to start now if I'm going to do it,
Mhm.
is to write a book and get it published. And so one of my goals, instead of looking at, keep saying, because I've been saying this goal for the last 3 years, I'll tell you, Lachelle, but I never took the action. And so where's the action now? Is that I spend an hour a day, typically Monday through Friday, right? Writing an hour a day. The other thing
Mhm.
is I've hired a coach that I
I
meet
love
with
that.
3 times a month to
Mhm.
get help on my writing. I'm also reading about writing. So I am
Mhm.
taking daily. So what I've done
Mm.
is, now that I've decided, okay, this is a goal and this is one of the 3 that I'm going to focus on right now. Now, what's my next step? And
Mhm.
interesting, when I started this, so in January, I said, this is what
Mhm.
I'm going to do, is I actually got the opportunity to write a chapter for a book There's going to be 24 authors. It's a series called Momentum Makers, and I'm in book 4 or 5. I think I'm in book. So the first one is, well, it's a little slow, but it's going to. Things have slowed down because there's a retail environment and stores aren't open right now. But I literally a week ago sent in my chapter, 3,000 words. So it's not a book yet, but it's interesting when you get focused on specific goals. And I know that chapter is going to open doors and new opportunities that had I not gotten focused on my goal of wanting to write a book. But what I mean by focus is creating time in my calendar to do the activities that need to be done to write a book.
I love that. And, so because this is so key, because there's a lot of people that have those dreams right now. They're doing a lot of reflecting. They're like, I've always said that I wanted to do this. One of the things that I got out of that answer is that you hired a coach. And so for a lot of people, they think, I'm just not trying hard enough. Or, like you said, it's been something for 3 years. So what was it that kind of shifted for you to just have this mindset to think that I'm going to do it and I'm going to get help, if that was the case?
Well, one, I got tired of saying I was going to do it. Right? Because at some point you're like, if I keep saying I'm going to do it and I don't literally make a plan to make it happen, it's never going to happen. And so I knew that to keep me accountable, writing is not, I don't like this language. It's going to put the wrong language. Writing has not always been my favorite thing. Like if you look at SAT scores, I was very high on math and not on English or verbal. And so math is my thing. I love math. Give me numbers. So writing is something that hasn't come as easily to me. So it is like work. And so I knew I needed the coach to help keep myself accountable. Because if I just said, I'm going to do this, I also knew this wasn't one of my strong suits. And I think things can become strong suits through practice. And so I needed to practice, but me just writing without any feedback wasn't going to get me where I wanted to go.
I love that. And I'm going to tell you a little trick that I learned from an author. He has written like 48 books, 48, 49. I mean, he just pumps them out. And he does these little YouTube things and stuff. But he said, Lachelle, you just write like you talk. And so he said what he would do is he would dictate his book and then transcribe it. And he said, because I listen to you train, and the information that you teach, you're passionate about. So if you just dictate that, because they've got these things where you can dictate it and it transcribes what you say into written form, and then
it's a great idea.
Somebody edit it. Yeah. So he said, because a lot of times people go back to their high school or whatever, and they think, an author for them back then is this really polished grammar person. And, if everybody believed that, there would not be half as many books that are out there. That's what he said to me. And I said, you are right. Okay. So that might be something that can kind of help you with that, because, I know you have no fear about sharing your information and the things you're passionate about with people. So being able to kind of do that and dictate, that might be something that can help you out.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that with me. That's awesome.
Yeah. So let's see. So for somebody who is, what would you say to somebody who's thinking about network marketing? We alluded a little bit to it in the beginning about how, some people think it's salesy. What would you say to somebody today? Because we are moving forward and accomplishing great goals and things that we're doing with send out cards, but to get somebody to kind of take another look and think, have
Yeah,
a
I would
different
say
perspective on
one,
network marketing.
be open minded. It's just a different form of distribution. And for a
Mhm.
long time, I did not understand what network
Mm.
marketing was, literally. And don't take
Mhm.
this negatively. I was a corporate America salesperson. I
Mhm.
was traveling and busy. And so I had been invited,
Mhm.
for me, network marketing was home parties. That's what I thought of it. And it was stay at home moms trying to
Mm.
get out of the
Mhm.
house for a couple hours a week to make a couple $100s. And I love this profession does that because
Mhm.
for that person who's doing that, it might be what she needs to keep her sanity. Like, I don't know how you have 15
Mhm.
kids. Like, I don't get it.
Right.
I'm like, what, 15? Wait, what? It's coming from a lady who has none. I have two grown
I
stepkids, but
know.
like none.
But
So, and I love that this profession does this, but as
yeah.
a corporate saleswoman, I didn't see why I would want to go spend my evenings
Mhm.
going out and sharing products until someone literally introduced what this could do for me
Mhm.
and that it could be an outlet for me of getting out of the corporate world. And then that's what got my attention. So, one, keep an
Mhm.
open mind. Two, know that it is work, right?
Mhm.
And one of the things that I like to say is that,
Mhm.
I got into this business for more freedom and so I could travel more. And I like to work, but I want to do it on
Mhm.
my own time and my own terms. I don't want a boss telling me what to do. And I just think 12 days of vacation is ridiculous. So, right. So, but here's the thing, when I got
Right.
started in this business, I
Right.
had to give up some of my freedom. I had to work more because I was working full time and I was building a business on the
Mm.
side. So I was giving up some evenings and weekends. So I was giving up some of my freedom to be able to create the freedom in the future. Right. And so it's not
I love
it's
that.
not
I love that.
hypey. It's not get rich quick. It is work and build a business. And when you do, because
Mhm.
there is leverage and there is residual, it can allow you what you're looking
Mhm.
for. But know that it is going to take work. It's going to take growth as a person. I think this profession, this field, I've grown
Mhm.
more in the last, 10 years than I did before because I had to really learn about me to become a leader, and be able to develop
Mm.
in this business. And then the third thing is if you get into this business, know why you're here and have an attitude that I'm not going to quit, right? I think we get into a business
Mhm.
like this, and my family did not
Mhm.
always understand why, with a college degree, I'd want to do network marketing because they
Mhm.
don't get network marketing. They have a mindset that I shouldn't be doing this. And so I had to
Mhm.
learn to value my opinion, my beliefs, and my vision about this business more than theirs. And that took me a while because we do lean on family and close
Right.
friends and want their opinions, but they never saw the vision I saw. And I'm so glad I didn't listen. And, that was some of the hardest part of this is because, some people come in this business and their whole family joins them.
Mhm.
Not my case. Not my case at all. And so I
Right.
had to persevere. So
Right.
know why you're here. One short term, but then also long term. Like my goal originally was just to quit my job so I could travel the world.
Mhm.
Now it's become and grown into my passion. My goal really is to inspire and mentor people to find and live their great life. And that's the beautiful thing about this business, right? It shifts from you to how you can
Mm.
help others. And so,
Mhm.
never quit on a bad day, but know why you're
Mhm.
here. Know it's going to take work, but know that if you stay the
Mm.
course, you learn, you grow, you share, it's worth it.
I love that. And I love that whole piece about the transparency that, everybody's not going to agree with your vision.
Right.
I mean, look at Steve Jobs. If everybody agreed with the iPhone, I mean, we probably wouldn't have had it. He had to really persevere through some hard times. I mean, he created something out of nothing, really, in so many words because of his
Well,
concept. how it started with
Right.
the,
Look at Walt Disney. He
MP3 or
put
whatever the thing was.
he wanted to
But
build an amusement
um,
park in the middle of a swamp.
yeah.
People thought he was crazy. And look at Disney as a brand today.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So I love it. We got to be willing to have those moments of being willing to stand alone if we have to, for the vision that we're believing in. So that's some great insight. So now, are there any books or podcasts that you would recommend to people right now who are trying to kind of keep on
Yeah,
this
so the
journey of
podcast I'm listening
self
to is
development?
Cody Bateman, right? Founder of Send Out Cards. He has relationship marketing
Okay.
with Cody B. If he listens to this, he's going to hear me admit that I was really bad last year about
Mhm.
listening to all his podcasts. So at the beginning of the year, I actually went to a conference and I tried to do 30 minutes of personal development every day. Typically, I like to read. Um, some days, not right now, but a couple months ago when I was
Mhm.
in my car more, I was listening. It would depend on the day.
Mhm.
And I listened to a lady named Danelle Delgado, and she said you need to be doing an hour a day and do it in while you're doing the rest of your life. So now every morning when I get up, as I'm doing that morning ritual stuff, I listen
Mm.
to his podcast for 30 minutes in the morning, and he's got like 60 some out now, and I'm at number 60, so I'm almost
Okay.
caught up. So I've really
Mhm.
enjoyed that podcast. I've downloaded a few more now. Larry Levine's Selling from the Heart. I just started his book. He's actually
Mhm.
going to be on our call coming up.
Mhm.
Yeah, let me see. I just pulled up
Awesome.
my iPad to give you um, some of the last ones that hold on, these are all the ones I haven't read. Um, Other books, Beach Money, Jordan Adler is a great book for someone looking at network marketing. I think that
Okay.
was when I came into this company. My upline, my sponsor sent it to me, and it really made me
Mhm.
understand what this business is all about. Being the network marketing business, not specifically Send Out Cards. So I think that's a great book. Um,
Mhm.
I do have a ton. I can always send you a list, Lachelle.
Okay, that's fine. That's good. I think this would be good because when we get started with self development, I know in my case I'm a book junkie, so I'll
You and
buy
me
all these
both.
books and knowing I can't read them all at the same time, right? So I think
Perfect.
one book and a couple podcasts, hey, I think I can knock those down, so that's good. Yes. So, what is the best way for people to get a hold of you? Because some people may really resonate with something you said and just, ask you about network marketing and,
I'm pretty active on
get some
Facebook,
insight
so
from
if
you. So,
they
what's
go
the best
search
way for
for
them to
me
get a hold of you?
there, they can send me a friend request, send me a message. I do look at my messages. That's typically somewhere I'm always am and can find me. I am building a website. My husband's helping me with it, but it is not done
Mm-hmm.
yet. But if you do go to
Oh,
callieteegardin.com, it will redirect you. There's a link there that you can go right to my Facebook as well.
okay. Awesome. Okay. Well, we are really excited to have had this time to have a conversation with you. Some great nuggets. You can't see me, but I have tons of notes over here. So I love to get some of those golden
Yeah, I
nuggets.
think
So, are
final
there
words
any
is
final
because of
words that you
the
would want
times that
to
we're
share with
living
us?
in. I strongly believe that in every challenge, there is an opportunity. And sometimes when we go through things, instead of looking at it as a
Mm-hmm.
challenge, it's looking for those doors that open to us that may not have been open before. I recently talked to a girlfriend who has a business, and she had been wanting to make some changes in her business. And this is actually pushing her to make the changes, the ones that she'd been talking about for the last 3 months. Some people, may be looking
Mm.
at other businesses or other things to start. This might be the time that you say, you know what, I'm going to write my book. But I do believe in every challenge, there's an opportunity. And why I say that, Lachelle,
Mm-hmm.
2.5 years ago, my mom passed away unexpectedly. I
Mm.
was 43 at the time, and she died of a massive heart attack.
Mm.
She was 70. She was very young.
Mhm.
2 years prior to that, my dad died at 69. A year before that, I went through a
Wow.
divorce. And so, in a 3 year period, just over a 3 year period, I had
Wow.
like three major things happen to me.
Mm.
And right before the divorce, I had just turned 40. And our founder, Cody
Mhm.
Bateman, called me up the day my mom died. And we were talking. He's like, I said to him, I said, you know what, Cody? The 40s, everyone say the best years of your life. But for me, no. And that's not exactly what I said. Right? I won't repeat exactly what I said to him. And he said, Callie, he's like, you
Right,
know
right.
what? I know it doesn't feel like it right now, but what you are going through is going to make you the person that you are supposed to become in this world. And you will look back, and these will be the best years of your life. And, this is only 2.5 years later, but I have that daily blog called
Mm.
Finding Joy in the Journey. It's on Facebook. And it was 9 days after my mom
Mhm.
died that I got the prompting, the idea to start that. Right. And so out of that, had she, and I miss her dearly, right?
Wow.
And I couldn't control her dying or not dying. That was when she was supposed to go. But I found my joy, right?
Right.
And so the whole point of finding joy in the journey is finding something every day I could be joyful for. And it
Yes.
was only supposed to be 16 days while I went on this long trip. Um, and then I was going to stop. Well, I just wrote day 900
Mhm.
today because when I started it, I started bearing my
Wow.
soul and sharing
Wow.
with people, and people would come back and say, you know what, you've made a difference. And everything now with the writing and the book all goes back to that. So out of
Mm.
that challenge came an opportunity because I was open to
Wow.
following my promptings, right? That inner voice that said, you should try this. And so you never
Mhm.
know what's going to come out of it.
Mhm.
So just trust yourself, trust God that there is an opportunity out of every
Mhm.
challenge.
Mhm.
Thank
I
you.
love that. And thank you so much for sharing. That is just so beautiful. That is just awesome. Well, we just really appreciate all your time and your
I've
insight.
enjoyed it
And
too, and it's such an
this
honor
has
to
just
be
been
here with you.
fabulous. I have really enjoyed myself. Oh, well, thank you very much. Well, I will be in touch. Well, I'm excited about seeing
Yes, he's
our
going to be
next guest,
awesome. He's
Larry,
on
on your
Monday,
call.
so he's going to be great.
Yeah.
Thanks, you too. Bye, Lachelle.
All right. Well, you have what an awesome interview. I really enjoyed the insight that I was able to get from Callie and just the mindset that, if we're open, there are no limits to what we can accomplish as long as we are willing to look at different opportunities and do the work, and be focused on what it is that we aspire to get out of a situation and taking the time to map out a clear path so that we can accomplish it. So, I mean, just some great nuggets. I couldn't even uh, summarize them all here in this brief little moment, but a great person with much passion, clearly focused on what her objectives are and accomplishing them. So I just think it was a great interview. And she's a fellow Hoosier. So we both are from Indiana. So that was just an added bonus. But I want to thank you guys for listening. If you are interested in being a guest, please email me at info@LachelleAtkins.com. I am also on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, and I have a YouTube channel. So I want to thank you guys for listening. And if you really are passionate, such as Callie, then take a few moments to do a review on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever there are podcast places available, because it would just be great for other people to witness such a great message so that they can move forward in their business and beginning to aspire to reach the goals and dreams that they would like to accomplish. So thanks again for listening. Have a great evening.